Israel's commitment to international law is unwavering. Equally unwavering is our sacred commitment to continue to defend our country and defend our people. Like every country, Israel has an inherent right to defend itself. The vile attempt to deny Israel this fundamental right is blatant discrimination against the Jewish state, and it was justly rejected. The charge of genocide leveled against Israel is not only false, it's outrageous, and decent people everywhere should reject it. On the eve of the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, I again pledge as Israel's Prime Minister, never again. Israel will continue to defend itself against Hamas, a genocidal terror organization. On October 7th, Hamas perpetrated the most horrific atrocities against the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and it vows to repeat these atrocities again and again and again. Our war is against Hamas terrorists, not against Palestinian civilians. We will continue to facilitate humanitarian assistance and to do our utmost to keep civilians out of harm's way, even as Hamas uses civilians as human shields. We will continue to do what is necessary to defend our country and defend our people.
אתמול היה אחד הימים הקשים מאז פרוץ המלחמה. אנחנו איבדנו 24 מטובי בנינו הגיבורים שנפלו על הגנת המולדת. יחד עם כל אזרחי ישראל, אני דואב על כל אחד ואחד מהם. אני מחבק את המשפחות שעולמם השתנה לעד. אנחנו שולחים תפילה כאן לשלום פצועינו. צה"ל בודק בדיקה יסודית של האסון. אנחנו חייבים להפיק את הלקחים ולעשות הכל למען שלום לוחמינו. אנחנו בעיצומה של מלחמה שאין צודקת ממנה. במלחמה הזאת יש הישגים גדולים, כולל היום בהשלמת הכיתור של ח'אן יונס, אבל יש גם מחירים כבדים מאוד. אנחנו מרכינים ראש לזכר נופלנו, ועם זאת איננו לרגע מפסיקים לחתור ליעד שאין לו תחליף, השגת הניצחון המוחלט. יחד נילחם, ובעזרת השם, יחד ננצח.
כאן במקום הזה, ב7 באוקטובר, נפלו חיילות וחיילים, טובי בנותינו ובנינו, השם ייקום דמם. והיום אנחנו נוטעים עצים באדמה רוויית הדם והיגון הזאת, עצים חיים לזכרם. החמאס בא לעקור אותנו, אנחנו נעקור אותו. החמאס בא להכחיד אותנו, אנחנו נכחיד אותו. אנחנו נעמיק את שורשנו בארצנו, אנחנו נעקור את אויבינו. אנחנו נהיה כאן והם לא יהיו שם. והדבר החשוב ביותר, אנחנו נמשיך לבנות את היישובים, את המושבים, את הקיבוצים, אנחנו נפריח אותם הרבה מעבר למה שהיה, ואנחנו מחויבים להשיג את הניצחון המוחלט. הניצחון המוחלט פירושו חיסול חמאס, החזרת כל חטופינו. אנחנו לא מוותרים על היעד הזה. ולכן בט"ו בשבט, כאן ליד רצועת עזה, אני אומר בצורה הכי ברורה, אין תחליף להעמקת שורשנו, ואין תחליף לניצחון מוחלט על אויבינו.
זאת המ"פ, שירת.
אני פגשתי אותך פה פעם, נכון? זוכר. מישהו עוד?
Accordingly, the court found that any state party to the Genocide Convention may invoke the responsibility of another state party, including through the institution of proceedings before the court, with a view to determining the alleged failure to comply with its obligations erga omnes partes under the Convention and to bringing a failure to the end. The court concludes prima facie that South Africa has standing to submit to it the dispute with Israel concerning alleged violations of obligations under the Genocide Convention. As the court has stated in other cases, in order for acts to fall within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, the intent must be to destroy at least a substantial part of a particular group. This is demanded by the very nature of the crime of genocide, since the object and purpose of the Convention as a whole is to prevent the intentional destruction of groups. The part targeted must be significant enough to have an impact on the group as a whole. The Palestinians appear to constitute a distinct national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, and hence a protected group within the meaning of Article 2 of the Genocide Convention. The Court observes that, according to United Nations sources, the Palestinian population in the Gaza Strip comprises over 2 million people. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip form a substantial part of the protected group. The Court notes that the military operation being conducted by Israel following the attack of 7 October 2023 has resulted in a large number of deaths and injuries, as well as massive destruction of homes, the forcible displacement of the vast majority of the population, and extensive damage to civilian infrastructure. In the Court's view, the aforementioned facts and circumstances are sufficient to conclude that at least some of the rights claimed by South Africa and for which it is seeking protection are plausible. This is the case with respect to the right of Palestinians in Gaza to be protected from acts of genocide and related prohibited acts identified in Article 3, and the right of South Africa to seek Israel's compliance with the latter's obligations under the Convention. The Court is acutely aware of the extent of the human tragedy that is unfolding in the region and is deeply concerned about the continuing loss of life and human suffering. The Court reaffirms that the decision given in the present proceedings in no way prejudges the question of the jurisdiction of the Court to deal with the merits of the case or any questions related to the admissibility of the application or to the merits themselves. It leaves unaffected the right of the governments of the Republic of South Africa and the State of Israel to submit arguments in respect of these questions. The order then states that the Court deems it necessary to emphasize that all parties to the conflict in the Gaza Strip are bound by international humanitarian law. It is gravely concerned about the fate of the hostages abducted during the attack in Israel on 7 October 2023 and held since then by Hamas and other armed groups, and calls for their immediate and unconditional release.